Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel, kaviwebdesigns. Today we're going to continue with our JavaScript Eve course. But before we continue with our JavaScript Eve course, if you didn't watch our previous video about JavaScript strings, you should watch that video first before watching this one. So now, let's jump into our today's topic, which is JavaString methods. So as you can see over here, basic string methods. JavaScript strings are primitive and immutable. All string methods can produce a new string without altering the original string. So as you can see over here we have some examples of string methods such as string length, string charAt, string toUpperCase, string toLowerCase, string trim, string start, string trim end, string repeat, and string split. But in today's lecture, we're only going to cover some important ones, such as JavaScript string length. The length property returns the length of the string. So as you can see in this example, here we have an example where we have declared a variable called text and given it the value of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. And then we have declared another variable called length and we have given it text.length. So then it will find out the length of this string over here and assign the value. So as you can see over here, this string has 26 letters in it. So then over here, JavaScript will display it as 26. So now let's look at this using Visual Studio Code. So now as you can see over here, in the body section, we have a header 1, a header 2, a paragraph, and an empty paragraph which has the ID of demo. And in the script tags, we declared a variable called text and given it a string. And then over here, we're using the document.getElementById method and we're updating the HTML element which has the ID of demo. So as you can see over here, we're updating this paragraph over here. We're updating the content inside this paragraph over here using inner.html, and then we have given as text.length. So this will display the length of the variable text. So now let's run this to see what will happen. So as you can see, we'll get a header 2 and a paragraph, and then in the empty paragraph which also has the ID of demo, JavaScript has updated it to 26 as you can see over here. So now let's go back to the PPT to learn more. Extracting string characters. There are 4 methods for extracting string characters. The addPosition method, the charAdPosition method, the charCodeAdPosition method, and using property access like in arrays. JavaScript string charAt. The string charAt method returns the character at specified index position in a string. So as you can see over here, here's the example of the method charAt bracket open bracket close. So now as you can see over here we have declared a variable called text, assigning the value of a string, and the string is saying hello world. Note that all characters over here are caps lock. And then we have another variable called char and we have assigned the value of text.charAt0. So the position 0 is h over here. Please note that JavaScript's positions start from 0, not from 1. Let's look at this code using Visual Studio Code. So now as you can see in the script tags, we have declared a variable called text using the where keyword and assigning the value of hello world, which is a string. And then we are using the document.getElementById method. So then JavaScript will go through the body tag to HTML tag, the body tag, the header 1 tag, header 2, the paragraph, and finally the paragraph which has the ID of demo. And when it finds this ID of demo, then we'll go to the next step. So as you can see over here, we're using inner HTML. So we will update the content inside to text.charAt0. So now when we run this, as you can see in the empty paragraph, JavaScript will update it to h, as because the first letter of the variable text is h. And then over here we are finding out where in this text what has the position of 0. So h has the position of 0, right? So then JavaScript will update it accordingly. So now let's go back to the PPT. JavaScript string charCodeAt. The string charCodeAt method returns the code of the character at specified index in a string. The method returns a UTF-16 code, an integer between 0 and 65,535. So now, as you can see in this example, we're declaring a variable called text and giving it the value of string. The string is saying hello world. This string over here has all caps. And then we're declaring another variable called char, giving it the value of text.charCodeAt0. So basically what it is doing is, it is first going into the value of text and finding out the position of 0, which is h, and assigning the value of a UTF-16 code. So now let's look at this using Visual Studio Code. As you can see over here, we have a variable text. There is no variable called char. as because we have shifted it to over here. So we have given it as text.charCode at 0. So what it's basically doing is it's going to the value of text and finding out the position of 0, and then it's finding out its UTF-16 code. So now when we run this using Chrome, so we'll get our header, a header 2, a paragraph, and the paragraph will get 72 as because caps lock H UTF is 72, and because caps lock H in UTF-16 is 72. So now let's go back to the PPT. JavaScript string at. ES 2022 introduced a string method at. So as you can see over here, we have declared a variable using the const keyword, and we have given it the value of W3 schools. And then we have used the let keyword and then given it the name of letter. And then we have used name.add and then bracket open, bracket true, and bracket close. So it is finding out the third letter of this name over here, which is S. So now let's look at this using Visual Studio Code. So as you can see over here, in the body section we have a header 2, a paragraph, and an empty paragraph which has the ID of demo. And in the script tags over here we have declared a variable called name, assigning the value of W3 schools, which is a string. And then we have declared another variable called letter, and we have used a method over here. We have used a string method where we are first getting the value of name, which is W3 schools, and then we are using the add to find out the third letter of this string, which is obviously S. And then over here we are using the document.getElementById method. We are getting the ID of demo, so which is over here, and then we are updating the content to the variable letter. So now when we run this using Chrome, as you can see over here, we'll get a header 2, a paragraph, and the empty paragraph which also has the ID of demo. JavaScript then will update it to the letter S, caps lock S, as because in the variable const, the third letter is also the caps lock S. So now let's go back to the PPT. So now as you can see over here, here's another example where there's a teeny tiny change. Instead of round brackets over here, we're using square brackets, which will also give the same result as previously. The add method returns the character at a specified index position in a string. The add method is supported in all modern browsers since March 2022. Note, the add method is a new addition to JavaScript. It allows use of negative indexes while charAt do not. You can use mystring.add -2 instead of charAt mystring.length -2. Browser support. At is a ES 2002 feature. JavaScript 2022, ES 2022 is supported in all modern browsers since March 2023. So as you can see over here, here's the table when the modern browsers first allowed support for the add keyword. So as you can see over here, Chrome 94 has support for the add keyword, and so is Edge 94, Firefox 93, and Safari 16.4, and then Opera 79. So as you can see over here, Chrome and the Edge were first browsers to support for the add feature, property access. So as you can see in this example over here, we have declared a variable called text and we have given it assigning the value of hello world. And then we have declared another variable called char and assigned it the value of text bracket 0 and then square bracket open 0 and square bracket close. So here we are basically going into the value of text and finding out the letter which has the position of 0. So let's look at Visual Studio Code to see what will happen. So now, as you can see over here in the script tags, we have declared a variable called text and assigned it the value of hello world. Then we have used the document.getElementById method and we're getting the ID of demo. So then JavaScript will go over here, JavaScript will go to the body and search for the ID of demo. So over here, it will search for the H1, but it doesn't have the ID of demo. So it will skip it and go to the next one. So this doesn't also have the ID of demo. So it will go to the next one. And so as this paragraph, it doesn't have the ID of demo. And then it will go to this paragraph over here. And then this has the ID of demo. So then JavaScript will update it to text bracket open, square bracket open 0, and then square bracket close. So then this means that it will just go into this text, the value of text, and then find out which letter has a position 0. So now when we run this using Chrome, you will see that we'll get a header, a paragraph, another paragraph, and then the empty paragraph which also has the ID of demo is now replaced with H, as because over here H has a position of 0. So now let's go back to the PPT. Note, property access might be unpredictable. It makes strings look like arrays but they are not. If a character is not found, it will return undefined, while charAt returns an empty string. It is read-only. str0 equals a gives no error but it doesn't work. Converting to uppercase and lowercase. You can convert a string with toUpperCase method, and you can convert the string to lowercase with toLowerCase method. So as you can see over here, JavaScript string to uppercase. As you can see in this example, we have declared a variable called text1, given it as we have declared a variable called text1 and we have assigned it the value of hello world. And then we have declared another variable called text2 and we have given it the value of text1, but then we are using toUpperCase method to uppercase the value of text1. So let's see what will happen in Visual Studio Code. So now, as you can see over here in the script tags, we have declared a function called myFunction, and we have declared a variable called text, and we have as a value document.getElementById method. We're getting the ID of demo and then .innerHTML. And then we are using the document.getElementById method again, and we're getting the ID of demo. So in the script tag, as you can see over here, we have declared a function called myFunction, and we have declared a variable in there using the let keyword and named it text. And then over here, we're storing the value of hello world by using the document.getElementById method. We're getting the ID of demo, so it has the text hello world. And then we're just storing it. And then we're using the document.getElementById method again. We're getting the ID of demo, and then we are replacing the content inside to text.toUpperCase. So now let's run this to see what will happen. So we will have a header, a paragraph, and we'll have a button, and we'll have another paragraph over here which has the ID of demo. And as you can see over here, the button has a onClick attribute and it's invoking myFunction. So when we click on it, it will invoke this function and execute the code in this over here. So now when we run this using Chrome, and then when we click this button over here, it will caps this paragraph underneath it. So now let's go back to the PPT. JavaScript string to lowercase. So as you can see over here in this example, we have declared a variable called text1 and given it the value of hello world. And then we have declared a variable called text2 and we have assigned it the value of text1, but over here we're using toLowerCase. It's lowercase all text. So let's look at this using Visual Studio Code. As you can see over here, this is like the previous one over here, previous example over here, but there's a little change over here. Instead of using toUpperCase over here, we're using toLowerCase. So when we run this using Chrome, you will see that we'll get the same before, but this button has a different function now. When you click on it, it will lowercase the H and the W. So now let's go back to the PPT. JavaScript string concat. Concat joins two or more strings. So as you can see in this example over here, we have declared a variable called text1 and given it the value of hello. And then we have declared another variable called text2 and given it the value of world. And then we have declared another variable called text3 and we have given it as text1.concat. In the brackets over here, we have given an empty string with just one space. So it will act like a space when we type. And then we have written the value of text2 over here. Let's see what happens using Visual Studio Code. So as you can see over here is an example from above, and then we're just using the document.getElementById method. We're getting the ID of demo. So JavaScript will go to here. It will search the header 1, the header 2, the paragraph, but they all do not have the ID of demo. So it will go to this paragraph over here, and then it searches over here, and this has the ID of demo. So then it will update it to the value of text3, which is text1 plus text2. So now when we run this using Chrome, we will see that we will have JavaScript string, we will have a header 2, a paragraph, and in the empty paragraph, JavaScript has replaced it to hello world. But instead of this, we can just write text1 plus an empty string plus text2. And then when we run this too, it will be the same result as using the concat method. The concat method can be used instead of the plus operator. These two lines do the same. So as I told you, as you can see in this example, hello plus an empty string plus word is the same as hello.concat and in the brackets an empty string comma world. JavaScript string trim. The trim method removes the white space from both sides of a string. So as you can see over here we have some unneeded white space over here. So as you can see over here, we have declared a variable called text1 and given it the value of hello world. But over here, we have some unwanted white space on both sides. So we have declared another variable called text2 and given it the value of text1.trim. So then it will trim out the white spaces which are not needed. So let's look at this using Visual Studio Code. So as you can see over here, here's the example from above. And then over here, we use the document.getElementById method. So JavaScript will search for this and it will find out that this paragraph has the ID of demo. So then it will replace it to a string plus text1.length plus a br tag plus a string text2.length. So now let's run this using Chrome. So as you can see over here, we'll get a header 2, and over here in the empty paragraph, which also has the ID of demo, is now replaced with length text1 equals 22, length text2 equals 12. Because over here, we use text1.length and text2.length with some other strings. So as you can see over here, this one actually has trimmed down the empty spaces. So now let's go back to the PPT. JavaScript string trim start. The trim start method works like trim but removes white spaces only from the start of a string. So as you can see over here, we have another example where we have variables from before. But we have a small change over here. Instead of using trim, we use trim start, where we only trim the start of the string. So then this will result to hello world, and then there will still be spaces over here. The JavaScript string trim start is supported in all modern browsers since January 2020. So as you can see over here, here's the table for the support of trim start. JavaScript string trim end. In ECMAScript 2019 added the string method trim end to JavaScript. The trim end method works like trim but removes white space only from the end of the string. So as you can see over here, we have our variables from above, but with a small change. Instead of using trim or trim start, we use trim end, where it will only remove the white spaces from the end. So this will work similar to start, but at the end of the string. JavaScript string repeat. The repeat method returns a string with a number of copies of a string. The repeat method returns a new string. The repeat method does not change the original string. So as you can see over here, here is two examples which create copies of a text. So as you can see in this first example, we have declared a variable called text and we have given it the value of hello world. And then we have declared another variable called result, and then we have given it as the value of text.repeat2. It will repeat it 2 times and give it as hello world, hello world, hello world. So let's look at this using Visual Studio Code. So as you can see over here, here is the example from our PPT, and then we're using the document.getElementById method. We're getting the ID of demo. It'll go over here and it goes to this header 2. It doesn't have the ID of demo. Next, and so on and so forth until it reaches the ID of demo, which is over here. Then it will replace it to the value of result. So now let's run this without debugging. So now, as you can see over here, we have a header 2, a paragraph, and in the empty paragraph, JavaScript has replaced it to hello world, as because we have repeated it 2 times and we have only put it as result. So you may ask, will JavaScript repeat it as how many times as we want? I don't know, but let's try. So even if we write 1000 over here, JavaScript will repeat it 1000 times. So as you can see over here, here is 1000 times hello world. And you can take it a step further. How about 100,000 times? So as you can see over here, here's 100,000 times the string hello world. It just keeps going on forever and forever and forever. So now let's change it back to 2. And here's another example where we are repeating it 4 times. Here the syntax for the repeat is string.repeat and then the counter. And the parameter is, so this count variable over here is the required number of copies wanted. And then return value is a new string containing the copies. So the browser support repeat is the ES6 feature in JavaScript 2015. ES6 is fully supported in all modern browsers since June 2017. So as you can see over here, here's the table for all the browsers which support the repeat method and above. And please note that repeat is not supported in Internet Explorer. So that's all folks, thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to support us, please like, share and subscribe to our channel kaviwebdesigns and keep on watching our videos and have a nice day friends. Bye.